Irpinia, a region that no tourist tour or travel agent will ever bring you. And nobody talks about Irpinia. When we talk about travel trips, everyone talks about Amalfi Coast and so on. Still, a lot of my friends or our friends and wine club members, there is kind of a strict tour when they have like 2 weeks in Italy or like 1 week in Italy. You go to Venice, you go to Florence, you go to the Cinque Terre, you go to Rome, and then you go to the Amalfi Coast. And I'm sorry to tell you that there's a lot of other things to see in Italy. Especially, I love that kind of vibe you get in places that are not full of tourists. And so people are more sincere, less corrupted by the artificial economy of transforming everything in a museum where you have to line up to take your selfie. And no, if you go on Amalfi nowadays, you don't have nothing is local. Actually, it's a beautiful place. I wouldn't say that. I love to go there like in February and March when there is nobody, or actually less crowd. And so when we got into Irpinia, at the beginning of the trip, it was a bit tricky. You have all these medium-high hills, with a bit of a volcanic soil affected by the eruption of the Vesuvius, the last one. And but beside that, it's not a land that is really impressive. Looks like a bit more scattered Tuscany, I would say. I was not really impressed about that area. I love when a place actually makes sense because of the winemaker, because the winemaker is creating a connection. He's the weaver of the land and explains you where you are, and you start to orientate yourself and you start to see beauties where you didn't see it before. Because maybe on the main road there are shopping malls. There was a huge earthquake in 1980. You have to remember this. And so it happened that a lot of people abandoned the villages and started to live in little houses that look more like the suburbs of Detroit than in Italy. All the slides that are similar one to the other and so on. So if you go to the main roads, you might not discover Irpinia. But then if you go a bit on sideways, you might discover there are middle-aged castles, a lot of incredible stories related with a huge Renaissance and Middle-Age culture. And it's related with a grape variety called Aglianico. I already talked about Aglianico, and it started to become a bit famous now. They call it the Nebbiolo of the South. Aglianico is a grape variety with a lot of tannins that needs time before you can drink it. It takes age and so on. This is, for example, it's 2015. I'm actually presenting both of wines, the Tier 1 and Tier 2. So level 1 and level 2 wine club of the same winemaker. A nicer, easier, more ready to drink 2018, still a 4 years old type of wine, beautiful and complex. A bit more complex, a bit more Barolo style, a bit more austere type of Aglianico, 2015, so already a 7 years old wine. First of all, let's talk about how serious is this winemaker. He doesn't actually release the wine before at least 4 years of age. But let's get into Pupo El Mágico, how we call it. Nardone is his name. He is an incredible person. He's a philosopher. He's married with an American woman. And I remember it was me and Lindsay there. So there was this story that were similar between me and Lindsay and Pupo and Sarah. Sarah decided she was working for a multinational company, and she started to get to find her new origin, old origin, because she was originally Italian. So an American from California moved to the most strange area in the world. And now they're working together, and I think Pupo is making one of the most interesting Aglianico. The video we did is possibly one of the videos that I liked more, because the way he started from the suburbs of these horrible little villages and then get into beauty and get into the essence of what does it mean, making wine with soul-respecting tradition. In an area that makes a lot of industrial wines. What actually pissed me off, and what actually pissed off also Pupo, is that a lot of the wines that they are industrial. And it's a pity, because potentially they can make a great wine. I'm not talking about more than 3,000-4,000. There are 3-4 winemakers, I think, that they make a decent Aglianico there. And Pupo, to me, is one of the best at the moment. Thank you.